Hi, I'm Lumi. I'm a parking officer and I play music. I started music when I was 7 years old. The first instrument I picked up was a violin. Since then, I've not stopped playing music. I just picked up more instruments. The drums was the next instrument that I learnt to play. And then guitar, bass guitar, and piano followed. I also like going to the gym. It's just like a good release of energy and perfect way to end the day, really. I became a parking officer about a year and 5 months ago. I chose this job role because I used to work in a restaurant and I was quite miserable being stuck indoors all day, especially during the summer. The main thing I love about being a parking officer is walking about and helping people and talking to the members of the community. Unfortunately, there are bad days. A lot of people do use derogatory terms and swear words at us, and just stuff to make us miserable, and it does really affect us, and it makes me personally feel really bad. A lot of the abuse that I get personally is verbal. A lot of name calling. It usually is from people who aren't even receiving tickets, just people walking by. And like those sorts of stuff does really affect like my mental health, and like it can affect like how I do my job for the rest of the night as well. If we weren't out there would be a lot of disruption to our daily lives. You wouldn't be able to find parking space outside your house. You wouldn't be able to find parking space to pop to the shop. Cars would be parked on pavements, and that causes a danger to disabled people, elderly people, and children. It happens, and it would happen a lot more if we weren't there to try and deter people from it. The best day for me would be during the summer when it's nice and warm, and just being able to go out, help people, and not actually have to issue that many tickets. I really love it when I don't have to issue tickets. It's so great when people come back in time. Like, that's great. That's what we want. We don't want to issue tickets. My one message to the public would be that we are human and we are nice. Like, we're not monsters, we're not out to get you, we're not here to target you. We're just trying to do our jobs at the end of the day.
Hello, my name is Steph. I am a senior parking officer. I have a degree in psychology, and on the weekends I really like to read, basically anything that inspires me at the time. I really love being outside. I love going for walks. In my degree, we talked about how green spaces are really good for mental health. It's one of the ways I like to keep myself in check. Going outside, take a picnic with me, crack out the walking boots, you know. I absolutely loved studying psychology. The way that I was taught was very non-judgmental. It was like anything is possible. So don't judge people. I became a parking officer 11 months ago, and I chose this role because I wanted something that would really tap into the customer service side of jobs that I really enjoy. The rewarding feeling when you actually help someone. All of us have come across situations where someone needs help and it's totally unrelated to a car. A lot of my colleagues come across people who have had accidents. It does happen every week. We're seen a lot as a punishment, but actually we're just a public service. If it wasn't for us, then the city would just come to a standstill. The bus routes would be totally blocked up. We support small businesses with their loading bays that they desperately need. We keep disabled bays clear as well for people who genuinely need to use them. And emergency services need to be able to get through traffic easily. And if people aren't parked properly, that's not going to happen. With the good parts of the job, of course, there are bad sides as well. And I have received a fair bit of abuse. I've been followed. I've received sexual harassment on the street. I've been called every name under the sun. But yeah, it's a bit more subtle because I am a woman. I don't get the violence as such, but it's more of the typical abuse that a woman might receive. It does affect me. It does make me feel like I can't just explain to them I'm actually here to help. And if it was their driveway that was blocked, I would come to them as quickly as they called in, and I wouldn't treat them any differently at all. I just really want people to know that we are a public service, and it doesn't matter who you are in the city, but business owner, resident. Parking officers are just there to help the community, and anyone can ask us for help.
My name's Finn, I'm a parking officer. I'm also a history lover, an animal lover, and a music lover. I, for some reason, decided to start playing ukulele first, and then eventually I moved on to guitar, sort of in my late teen years. I love studying history. Specifically, I like the Viking Age and the Anglo-Saxon period, and that whole kind of era of different groups sort of migrating all over the place after the collapse of the Roman Empire. I find that really interesting because we can see how a lot of cultures and countries came about. It's just nice to be educated and informed. So for me, a good day at work is being put in an area that I like, and something new always pops up. It can be something totally random as well. You also get to go to places of the city that you might not know about, you've never been before, and it's really interesting. Some of the best days are when people come up to us and they even thank us. They appreciate that we take a lot of abuse, but we keep going and we keep trying to make the streets just run a bit smoother. I've experienced quite a lot of abuse. A lot of the time I'm not even doing anything, I'm just walking through a neighbourhood. It can be quite nasty, and sometimes it can stay with you as much as you want to be thick-skinned about it. Some of the words can be quite bad, and sometimes it can go beyond words. I was walking through a street and this stranger sort of comes up behind me. He then goes to sort of grab my shoulder, and I carry on walking, and as I'm walking he strikes me in my lower back. I didn't really process it straight away. It took a while for me to process what had happened. I think the consequences came later on. I did get very paranoid about just trying to do my job. Why should we have to put up with the threat of being attacked? I don't think it's particularly right. So the number one message that I want to send out is that people don't always see us as a public service, but we are here to help you. We're not here to get you or make your life more difficult. We're here to make life easier for people. They can ask us questions and we'll always give our best advice.
Parking officers, in addition to parking enforcement, provide so much more support to their communities. Calling ambulances for injured people or people in distress, giving first aid. I don't think that people realise quite how much they do when they're out there.
There is a lot of misinformation out there. It tends to make people angry, and it's simply not true. Traffic wardens are not based on commission or quotas or number of tickets they might issue in a day. It's very important to recognise that there is no incentive of that nature.
The abuse that parking officers receive is a huge problem, and it has been for a long time. It's both physical and verbal abuse, and although it might be perceived that the verbal abuse is not as serious as physical, over time, when that is happening all of the time, every day when you go to work, it is quite insidious and can have quite a long-term effect.
We'd be encouraging everybody to look at our parking officers with respect that they deserve. Nobody should be threatened or abused as a course of their work.
I think myths and misinformation around parking directly contributes to the abuse that the officers receive.
Parking enforcement is not a money-making operation. It's about making sure that the parking we do provide is available to those who need it, and we make the traffic is flowing. Where there is more money coming in from parking income, it is used to benefit the city as a whole. All our income has to be used by law for transport-related matters and the general state of the roads and the pavements across our city.
Behind that uniform is a person, and they deserve to be able to do that job without the fear of abuse or even violence towards them. There is so much more to the role than just giving out tickets, and I just wish that people realise how much more they bring.
I want to reassure the public that the parking officers are really kind people who are there to serve the community, and we encourage everybody to treat them for the people that they are. If you do meet one, be kind to them. They're a wonderful asset to every community where you find them, and they're generally very kind people willing to help as well.